Let's do number 4. It's a word problem, so we've got to read it carefully. It says, Mr. Fun, the snow cone man, makes 9 and 367 thousandths milliliters of Tiger's blood syrup, 10 and 531 thousandths milliliters of coconut syrup, and 4 and 792 thousandths milliliters of pineapple syrup to make 6 servings of his famous tropical paradise syrup. There's a lot of information in there, so we need to see, what do they want us to do? A asks, about how much syrup did he make in milliliters? Let's pause there. They want to know about how much syrup did he make in milliliters. About is a word that automatically makes us think of estimation. We're going to find about how much syrup he made. Now let's read on. Estimate the amount of each milliliter by rounding to the nearest tenth of a milliliter before finding the sum. So we got more information there. They want us to round it to the nearest tenth of a milliliter before finding the sum. Sum, we know, is the answer to an addition sentence, so we're going to be using addition. And then show all your thinking. So let's do it. He had 3 different types he put in there. Tiger's blood, coconut, and pineapple. Sounds like a good snow cone. Let's go ahead and round those, or estimate them to the nearest 10. Start with tiger's blood. He has 9, bad marker, 9 and 300 and, sorry, I lost my place, 67 thousandths of a milliliter. I need a new marker. So we're going to estimate that to the nearest tenth, which means we're going to go and underline the place value that we're rounding, which is the nearest tenth. In this case, that's our 3. Underline the 3 and draw an arrow next door to the 6. 5 or more, raise the score. 4 or less, let it rest. So since this is 5 or more, it's going to make the 3 go up. So it'll be 9.4. And these 2 digits just turn into a 0. So let's put that to the side, 9.4 milliliters. We can also just get rid of those zeros after the decimal. They're not necessary. Okay, let's do another one. We've done tiger's blood. Let's do coconut. Coconut is 10 and 531 thousandths of a meter. We're doing to the tenth, so underline the tenth and draw an arrow next door. 4 or less, let it rest. So this is going to stay the same. 10.5. Let's put that over here. And make sure you're really lining up those decimals so it's not confusing. And let's do our last one, which is pineapple. He had 4 and 792 thousandths milliliters. So underline your tenths, draw an arrow next door. Look at the 9. It is above 5, which means we're going to raise the score. Turn this 7 into an 8. So it'll be 4.8. And you don't need those zeros unless you want to put them there. 4.8. All right, now it's asking us, we need to know how much syrup did he make, just total. So we're adding them up. Adding. We have our decimal points lined up, so let's add. 4 plus 5 is 9, plus 8 is 17, so let's put our 7 here. Carry a 1. 9 plus 1 is 10, plus 4 is 14. Carry your 1. 1 plus 1 is 2, and bring down that decimal. So we need to write our answer. Mr. Fun made about 24 and 7/10 milliliters of syrup. It's kind of a thick marker, so it's hard to read that, but Mr. Fun made about 24 and 7/10 milliliters of syrup. So that's our estimation. Let's go on to part B of number 4. I'm just going to erase this. We're going to go on to part B. B tells us to find the actual amount of syrup mixed by Mr. Fun. And what's the difference between your estimate and the actual amount? So we're finding the actual amount, and then we're going to find the difference. Difference makes us think of subtraction. Okay, so let's find the actual amounts, which means we need to look back at the actual numbers, which means one of them is 9 and 367 milliliters. 10 and 531 thousandths milliliters, and 4 and 792 thousandths milliliters. Okay, let's add. 7 plus 1 is 8, plus 2 is 10. Carry your 1. Let's see, how can we make this easy? 9 plus 1 is 10, plus 6 is 16, plus 3 is 19. So put our 9 here, carry our 1. Okay, let's make this easy. 7 and 3 is 10, plus 5 is 15, plus 1 is 16. Carry your 1. 9 plus 1 is 10, plus 4 is 14, and 1 plus 1 is 2. Bring down that decimal. So 24 and 69 hundredths. And before, we had 24 and 7 tenths as our estimate, and we're going to find the difference between these two numbers, between the estimate and the actual, the exact, so we're going to have to subtract. I cannot take 9 away from 0, so I need to borrow from the 6, or from the 7, it turns into a 6, and 1/10 is equal to 10 hundredths, so I need to bring over 10 hundredths and make that a 10. 10 minus 9 is 1. 6 minus 6 is just 0. Bring down your decimal. 4 minus 4 is 0, and 2 minus 2 is 0. So let's write our sentence up here. The difference between the estimate and the actual amount is just 1/100th, was it 100th or 1,000th? Oh, I erased my answer. 100th. Or you can just write it as a decimal.